Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Atif from Hornsby Beekeeping Supplies. As all you guys know really well, we have been talking over the last 3-4 days. We are serving Australian beekeeping industry since mid-80s from our Hornsby branch, which started in mid-80s, which is the north of Sydney. Then we expanded out in west at Mandurah. Let's have a quick snapshot about Australian bee products. Since Australia is one of the last disease-free country, our beeswax, honey, honeycomb are pretty much clear from all the chemicals in comparison to the rest of the world. Beeswax broadly used in cosmetics industry, and honey is widely used in pharmaceutical industry. Honeycomb is pretty good in world market as well because we are the last disease-free country and one of the last disease-free country, I should say. Honeycomb is doing really well in world market. In addition to honey and honeycomb, we deal in propolis. Pollen is mostly from Western Australia. Royal jelly, we do tiny bit, very few queen breeders deal in it, since it is a labor-intensive job, and labor is pretty scarce in Australia these days, so we struggle with it. One thing I like to share with you today is Australian honey is pretty unique. The surprising thing is honey coming out from the same blossom from one location of Australia tastes fractionally different from the other part of Australia, which makes it pretty unique. In addition to that, in recent days we worked out that Australian honey has got medicinal properties as well, and now we have started selling Manuka honey as well in the world market. Let's have a quick overview of Australian beekeeping industry. I normally like to segregate between the recreational and commercial beekeepers. Both operations are entirely different. Recreational beekeepers is static beekeeping. We got 46,000 registered beekeepers around Australia. Beekeeping clubs plays a vital role in promoting beekeeping around Australia. The beauty about these beekeeping clubs is newbies who are starting their beekeeping journey, they go find a club. They normally get covered by one of their experienced beekeeper mentors. There they find a mentor, and that's a real start of their beekeeping, and that is the style how they get stung on the very first inspection of the hive. When I say stung, it is the bee sting, not human sting, be careful. It is very important in Australia to register your hive with the Department of Primary Industries. Once you register yourself with the Department of Primary Industries, they issue you a unique number. That registration number has to go into your hives. A lot of beekeepers, they like to register, to print the registration number on their frames as well. It helps primary industries to track and trace. If something goes wrong, we know exactly where all the bees are. The good part with the beekeeping association is they do support beekeeping equipment supplies and the beekeepers at the same time. We all work together. They help beekeepers in a sense, beekeeping equipment suppliers in a sense, when we receive a call from a beginner who hasn't got a clue how to start a beekeeping, we normally refer them to one of these associations. That's the start. They go in there, they test the waters, and they work out whether it is something which they like to do or not. And once they get stung for the first time at the bee field day or the beekeeping club's field day or open hive day, they work out, okay, it is something which we like to do or not. What we normally do, we give 10% discounts to all the beekeeping clubs. It is really interesting for Fiji Beekeeping Association as well. We offer 10% discount to beekeeping associations. What happens is they sell those gears on their field days, on their open days. They do have a general meeting as well. That's where they present all those equipment once a month. And all the beekeepers, if they need anything, they pick it up, which makes them a few extra dollars to improve their facilities at the club. And it works both ways for the equipment suppliers because beekeeping associations, they have their own expenses to meet. So they charge 70 or 80 bucks a year. And once They pay $70, and when they come back to us to buy beekeeping equipment, what is not available at the club, we offer them further 5% discount. So in actual fact, in the first or the second purchase, all of their registration expenses got covered with that 5% discount they are going to get from equipment suppliers. So it is very important for the Fiji Beekeeping Association and the equipment suppliers around here think about this model, work out some sort of discounts, which will help the association and the equipment suppliers at the same time, and down the road producing the right products and introduce the right products in the industry. Australian commercial beekeeping industry, since it is all migratory, there's around 1,800 commercial beekeepers, 855,000 hives, which includes backyard beekeepers as well. Australia produces 20,000 tons of honey. Mind you, that's what we pay levy on. Australia has honey levy. If you produce 1.5 tons per year, you have to pay honey levy. Having said that, since we have got 46,000 backyard beekeepers, they produce a couple of 100 kilos a year, they are exempted. 65% of horticulture and agriculture crops require honeybees for pollination. Our biggest pollination is almond, which happens on the border of New South Wales and Victoria, and in Victoria as well. Lots of beekeepers, they travel thousands of kilometers to attend almond pollination, and the basic attraction is check is pretty healthy, which really helps them in managing their cash flow in coming days. When you look at these trucks, everyone would have been thinking that we deal in trucks as well. No, that's wrong. I call these trucks, they are beekeeping mates. They help beekeepers in every possible way. We have unprecedented weather events over the last 4 or 5 years, droughts, bushfire, flooding. Honey flow has shortened down. What used to be 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes we normally have 2 or 3 weeks of honey flow, and you have only 2 or 3 weeks bracket to run around. So these trucks are very helpful. I must admit that pretty much every beekeeper in Australia owns their own trucks. Quick snapshot about beekeeping equipment supplies in Australia due to a climate change like New Caledonia. They have been talking about climate change. Fiji is pretty much the same. Australia, we had pretty rough weather over the last 3 years. It has changed the requirement of beekeeping equipment supplies in Australia as well. Industry is transforming. Beekeepers used to purchase flat pack boxes and flat pack frames, well, 3 or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, to knock them together in winter, based on their requirements. Now they ask for already assembled boxes and assembled frames. We all scratch our head, why? One year you had a pretty small honey flow, and the next year you are short of money. You can't afford to buy even flat pack boxes and frames. You like to keep your money in your pocket and buy it. But as soon as their frame's turning yellow, there's a honey flow looking around, they start looking for, that's the only way to go at that time, because the window is only a week or so. So they quickly run over, pick the frames and boxes up, plonk onto the hive, and in a couple of weeks, they normally fill up a box of honey pretty easy, subjected to where exactly you are. Condition varies a lot all around Australia. Same is the case with the protective clothing as well. We have transformed from cotton overalls to 3-layer ventilated overalls as well. Equipment supplier focus, it is quality control, product visibility on multiple platforms, customer services, and stock availability. I will discuss all 4 of them one by one. Quality control is pretty important, whether it is a beekeeping industry or any other industry we speak about. What we have noticed is sometimes a couple of dollars here and there doesn't make a lot of difference in the longevity of the product. Over the last few years, extreme weather challenges we have been experiencing over in Australia, it has changed the dynamics of industry. It is heaps more fast-paced environment than it used to be. We work heaps longer hours than we used to be over the last, in comparison to the last 5 or 10 years or so. If you look at the left side box, It is pretty sad hive. What has happened is sometimes we save a couple of dollars, we shop around and try to find the cheapest possible deal and compromise on quality. That's what happened. The life expectation of average box in beekeeping industry is 5 to 10 years. But if it is not properly treated, you will end up in getting this sort of dry rot in next couple of years or so. It is a false economy by the end of the day. You may have been saving $2 or $3 or $4 today, but in long run, beekeeping works on 5 or 10-year plan. Not tomorrow, not in 24 months, not in 36 months. That's how we need to plan here in Fiji to work around all these challenges. Work on 10 years ahead, not today or tomorrow, please. We here in Australia, we always speak about quality. Try to get the right product, the right price at the right time. That's the key to run beekeeping equipment supplies. That's what we have experienced over the years. You can see the your left side, sorry. Your left side, that beekeeper likes to drop his hives on the ground. If we have plenty of time up our sleeves, we do customized boxes for our customers. They supply us with their own registration number. They advise us what color they need, and we work based on their specifications. On the same note, the right side picture, all the hives are sitting on the pallets. It is more designed for quick migratory beekeeping. What beekeepers normally do on their bobcats, they quickly jump in, jump off the truck, pick those pallets up, plonk onto the truck, put the straps on, and off they go. It is pretty quick way, especially this process works really well when we had fire. Rural fire services in Australia, we normally have 12 hours or 16 hours window in place. And these hives may have been sitting 500 kilometers or 800 kilometers away from home, and which is a real-time nightmare for the beekeeper to pick it up within the time frame. So once we have all these hives on pallets, it works really well. And that's where I can see Fiji beekeeping in next 10 years' time. When your next generation comes in the beekeeping industry, all these schoolboys, I'm pretty sure that one of them would be dealing with the bees this way on the pallet, which is a lot quicker and more efficient way of running beekeeping operations. When we come down to product visibility, there are only 3 websites: social media marketing and trade shows. The funny thing about beekeeping equipment supplies is it is not like white appliances market, for example. You go online, you check all the specs, okay, tick, 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 tick all the boxes, let's go and grab it. Same is the case if you're buying a car, you go online, check all the specs, that's all you need, just grab it. But in beekeeping industry, quality varies a lot, treatment varies a lot, specification varies a lot. Every second supplier uses different products or different consumables to knock their boxes or frames together. Website is a pretty good tool for your existing customers. Having said that, social media marketing, it does attract new customers at the same time. On the same note, it does attract the old beekeepers who are already doing beekeeping but have never used your equipment. They will come to your website and start browsing around. They will eventually buy something to test the waters. Trade shows, pretty good tool. It gives us an opportunity to speak all the beekeepers we never met over the last 5 or 10 years. They place an order with us, they pick their gears, we ship their gears up, and we never have an opportunity to meet face to face. It is a very good tool to meet face to face to all the beekeepers to deal with. In Australia, customer service is the tool for any industry. We do take telephone orders, which only happens 9 to 5 while you're operational hours. Email inquiries is pretty much 24 hours. We try to reply all the emails ASAP as soon as we can. Social media inquiries is pretty much the same. Shop sale is the tricky one because when commercial beekeepers come to us and we have a newbie in the shop, they start talking, which is the excellent way to communicate the message. They come, they speak to each, they sit together, have cups and cups of teas and drinks, and they talk half of the day. By doing this, it gives us an opportunity to optimize our products and give the newbie to learn how to do beekeeping, what sort of processes and procedures they should follow to make their operation successful. Trade shows inquiries, pretty much the same. Stock availability. During COVID crisis, supply chain eruption ruined the stock availability and control. We couldn't manage to supply whole heaps our customers, which we normally supply all the time. Equipment transformation. As you can understand that if you are storing 100 flat pack frames in your shed, it only takes that much space. But if you're storing 100 already assembled frames, it is pretty much half a pallet. So that comparison leads to high inventory level. But equipment suppliers has to carry high inventory level to get them going. The key is to offer the right product at the right quality at the right price, and you are going to be in win-win situation. Lesson learned over the years. Australian beekeeping industry has transformed over the years. Yes, we all blame COVID as well, but in Australia, extreme weather events happen, drought, bushfire, flooding. Beekeeper has been losing their hives all over the joint. And they have to put these hives back on deck again. They need everything ASAP because they can see honey flow going on at this stage. The best way is if you have a stock, you can sell. If you don't have a stock, nobody's interested in you. That's what we need to work on here in Fiji as well. We should have a stock in here with the equipment suppliers on the time. If a beekeeper needs anything, they can always come and pick it up. Next thing is to wave the flag. We like to go to all the beekeeping associations, their open field days, their conferences as well. And it gives us an opportunity to speak to all the customers. We sit back, have a few drinks with them, explain what we are trying to achieve, try to work out what are the problems our equipment have, and try to optimize our products at the same time. The beauty about beekeeping industry, I'm pretty sure it is around the world. In any other trade in the world, nobody will share their tools. They will keep their secrets above the slave. Nobody tell you what they are doing. Beekeeping industry is very generous. They will share their experience all the time, happy to help, day and night, doesn't really matter. Another thing we normally do is, since we do a lot of customized orders for our customers, we try to catch up with all of these customers all the time and work out how's our product going. The first year, the second year, and the third year. I must admit, if I receive a call from the same customer who I supplied, my heart goes 100 miles an hour. It may be a complaint, but touch wood, it is doing all right so far, so good. And we are doing it from the last 6 years pretty much. We do it in customers in field, and when you see your products you have produced in action, it is really a win-win situation when your customer is satisfied with you. Well, one thing I should communicate to Fiji Beekeeping Association here, I strongly recommend try to develop your relations with equipment suppliers. Try to arrange the same arrangement we have in Australia. You'll be surprised to know that only in Sydney we have 9 beekeeping associations serving backyard beekeepers. And these backyard beekeepers, they are going to be commercial beekeepers in coming days. Every commercial beekeeper in Australia started with 10, 20, 30, 40, or 100 hives. And now they are sitting on 1,000 hives. They are managing themselves. You need to develop the same network here in Fiji. And I'm pretty sure in next 10 to 15 years' time, your beekeeping industry will be pretty much at par with Australia. Thank you very much. Thank you.